For the Original Gamer Podcast, I am the Original Gamer OG, and today with me I have a special guest. I have Lisa Foiles. Lisa, she was a star on Nickelodeon's All That, did a couple guest spots on Disney's Even Steven, Fox Malcolm in the Middle. Her website is loadsavepoint.com. She's also a guest columnist on Kotaku.com. Lisa, thanks for talking to me today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Now, you're a gamer, so let's get down to it. What started your love for gaming?
Well, I mean, like every little sister, I had an older brother who, had the Super Nintendo and the Mario games, and of course, I was drawn to that because it was bright and colorful and cute. And I remember specifically one day he went off to school, and I took the controller into my own hands, and it was kind of history from there. I just completely fell in love with it, and mastered the Mario and got into Street Fighter, and yeah, just completely adore it.
And what are some of the favorite games that you have?
Like current games, or?
Well, let's go down. What's some of your favorites of the past, and what's a current game that you like?
All right, I'd have to say my favorite all-time game would be The Secret of Monkey Island. The Monkey Island series is very dear to my heart. I think they're hilarious games. Most recently, BioShock is definitely up there in my top two, probably. Let's see. Really into Prince of Persia 4. I thought that was really great. Yeah, I have to say, just for favorite games though, I have to give those top two spots to the Monkey Island series and BioShock. Gotta stick to those two. Gotta be loyal.
When I was going through your site, that was one of your videos. With your PAX video, you talked about Monkey Island, and it kind of because that essentially was the game that brought you to, that sort of cemented you as being a gamer, right?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, that's a funny story. When I was hanging out at PAX, I was waiting in line to go see Ron Gilbert's keynote speech, and I happened to be standing in line with this man named Vlad, and I just kept talking to him, and it turns out that he was basically the head of Hothead Games, which is Ron Gilbert's company, and he was, he's basically like a father figure to me now. I talk to him a lot on email, and that night at PAX, I was able to go to dinner with him and a few other guys at Hothead, and Ron Gilbert showed up. So I mean, I start the day out as just being a huge fan of Ron Gilbert, and I end the day with having dinner with him. So it was quite a surreal experience.
I bet that's a really nice way to end things. Where
and he's extremely nice, and I mean, so helpful. I told him that I wanted to eventually write dialogue and storyline for video games, and he gave me some great advice with that. So yeah, really personable, really intelligent guy. Love him to death.
Your first really, where most of the gamer public saw you was on Kotaku.com for your Harley Quinn outfit. That really, now with that outfit, let me ask you. I mean, are you a big Harley Quinn fan? Is that are you big on her? Is that why you went, or was it just sort of the thing to do for the year?
Well, it's so funny how that got just blown up. I mean, as soon as that picture was on Kotaku, I woke up in the morning and I had 300 more Twitter followers, and I was like, what on earth is happening? And I was just kind of sharing it with Brian Crescente at Kotaku, just like, hey, I dressed up as Harley Quinn for Halloween. Just thought you guys would want to know. And of course, you put it on the front page of Kotaku, just like big as life. It started out as simply just playing Arkham Asylum, really loving the character design of Harley, and just really wanted to create the costume for Halloween. It wasn't cosplay or anything. It was totally Halloween. I will dress up for Halloween every year until the day I die, I swear to God. So it was just, I love this costume. I really want to make it. And it turned out pretty well. And now it's all over the netherwebs.
And you came back after that. There was another piece that you did that on Kotaku. One of the writers wrote about how guys should sort of get over girl gamers, and then you kind of went back and say, well, there's girls who play games, and then there's girl gamers.
Right.
Give me a quick synopsis, a quick rundown of what was behind all that? What's your idea with girl gamers and so on?
Oh, that feels like it was so long ago. It's so funny. That was actually the initial connection that I had with Kotaku. I really had no intention of, ever going after Kotaku like I wanted to be a writer for the site. It was just funny because I read that article and I was just like, I don't know if I agree with this. And I wrote my own response. I didn't even put a lot of, time and effort into making a good response. I basically just, I ranted about how I felt and I sent it to Tips at Kotaku. And, the next thing I know, Brian's the one writing back saying, hey, I really like your strong opinion on this and you should write for Kotaku sometime. So it's just funny that article is what started it. But, if I can remember, I'm pretty sure that the article on Kotaku was talking about how gamer girls aren't special anymore because, you see all these girls everywhere and they all have DSs and they're all playing games and like, look at all the celebrities that are gamers, like, the High School Musical girls and, all these celebrities like, oh, they were seen on camera with a pink DS, they must be a gamer. And basically I was just writing back saying like, no, I don't feel like those girls should be considered gamers. I feel like they're, casual gamers. They have that kind of title, but I mean, games are really special to me, and I know it sounds so weird that, to love games as much as I do, but they really have a soft spot in my heart. And I feel like the term gamer should be, reserved for those who know their stuff, who have played, games for most of their life, or, if they just started within the last 2 years, have, done some research and, know some developers and, they really know their stuff. They don't just say, oh yeah, I picked up the last Guitar Hero game, so, I'm a gamer now. I don't know. I feel like it should be a little more special than that. I don't know if that sounds weird, but that's just kind of how I feel.
And believe me, going around the forums, that's a common sentiment, especially now. The big term right now is the frat core, which I kind of hate that term. I mean, it's such a sort of, it's such sort of a flippant way of just saying, those people. Yeah. But I have a big deal about it, because back when I was playing Final Fantasy, on the NES, and other people were playing Super Mario Brothers, they laughed at me for playing Final Fantasy. And it's like, oh, you can't even jump in the game. Well, it's not that. It's you got this other stuff. Yeah. So, it's sort of like, it's a give and take. For me, I'm always like, hey, you play games, whether you're hardcore or not. I mean, go for it. I don't expect everybody to know every single thing about gaming.
Well, right. No, exactly. That's definitely true.
And definitely, if Harlan was here, he would take issue with the Guitar Hero comment, because that is mainly what he plays, that and DJ Hero. But that's because he's a freaking god at them.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's another thing, too. I mean, that's also, really knowing your Guitar Hero stuff. If you've been playing Guitar Hero, since, not even necessarily since the first one, but if you're really good and you spend a lot of time in it and, you can, your stuff, I mean, that's another aspect where you're really kind of getting into a game and your stuff. I mean, basically, I'm commenting on the girls who, have been, like, I don't know, I think it was just, I saw a bunch of photos all at once on the internet of all these little Hollywood starlets caught with a Guitar Hero controller in their hands, and it's like, oh, they're a nerdy gamer, and I'm like, no, they probably just went over to their boyfriend's house and played one game, somebody caught them on camera, it's on the internet. Like, I don't feel like, they're worthy of that term, but, I have, I know plenty of friends, and all they play is Guitar Hero, and some of them are really, really amazing, and I myself am not exactly all that good at it, but I'm pretty good on the mic. But that aside, I mean, I do think those guys really are gamers. I mean, look at their fingers move. That's insane.
Well, let's talk about this subject with the whole. I noticed this on Twitter. I follow you on Twitter. Another person I follow, her name is Corey. She's with Screw Attack. I met her at the...
Yes, I've actually been talking to her recently, too. She is such a sweetheart. I love her.
And I noticed just one day, all of a sudden these pop-ups came up between you and her, where it was about women that are on these video game shows. They're becoming more common. What do you think of that? I mean, there's always going to be Morgan Webb, which everybody kind of wants to say, well, she's not much of a gamer, but she's kind of proven herself, and so forth and so on. What about everybody else?
I don't really have a problem with any of the female game hosts out there. I think Morgan Webb is great. I mean, she's adorable, and she gets a little sassy when she talks about games. I think she's great. I love the show X-Play. Olivia Munn, I don't know if she can be considered solely a game host because she more does the technology show with Attack of the Show, and who's the other one? Jessica Melissa on IGN, whatever her name is.
Right.
Yeah, basically my only problem is that we're getting the same people over and over and over. Like, you always see the standard video game host. Like, if something's going to be hosted, it's going to be either Jeff Keighley, Morgan Webb, Adam Sessler, or, the people at Attack of the Show. Like, it's always the same people. And I don't know, like, I feel like there should be some room for other people. That's actually one of my dreams, is to host some kind of video game show. Because, that's what I grew up doing. I'm an actress first. That's, kind of how I got my notoriety. But, yeah, I mean, I'd love to do that. But I actually had a meeting with G4. And this was last year during summer. And, they loved me, and, they loved that I was all about games and that I knew my stuff. But they were like, we got to be honest with you. We're not really expanding our video game section of G4. Like, we're not really going in that direction. In fact, video game TV isn't all that successful. In fact, it's kind of, shame spiral.
Yeah. They need more time for cops.
So they kind of want to take G4 in more of a Spike TV direction with a lot more technology and guy stuff, which I thought was really a shame because, there are some great video game TV shows out there, and I would love to host one of them, but unfortunately, there's just... Gamers would rather play games than watch shows about games. That's just the bottom line, which I understand.
Oh, and G4 needs a couple more cops and Star Trek shows and a couple more like that. And it's a shame, but I also, one thing that's common through all the podcasts is I always said that gamers are some of the bigger haters of all. And it really is. Have you gotten much hate on your end? Has there been just more praise, or has there been a bit of hate with you coming out and saying this stuff from the women's side, from the male side, anything like that?
Oh my God, that's such a funny question. I mean, after my first, I've written for some newspapers and magazines in my life, and always gotten a pretty good response. But it was just so funny after my first piece. On Kotaku, I got everything that was a personal message to me was really positive. People were like, "Oh, I loved your article. You had great things to say." Mm-hmm. But look at the comments on Kotaku on basically any article. There's so many gamers that they love to hate, and they love to type those 4-paragraph responses saying, this is why I disagree with you. And I kind of came to the conclusion lately after my Bayonetta article, just after glancing at the comments, I decided I am just not going to read the comments anymore on my Kotaku article. Maybe just a few, but if I read all of them, I'm going to just shoot myself and think that I'm worthless. And also, B, I decided that I could have an article and all it would say was, video games are awesome, and there would still be a ton of gamers that would say, like, here's why I disagree with you. They find a way to disagree with you no matter what you say. But thankfully, I have a great group of followers on Twitter, and I get great responses from some Kotaku readers just personally in my inbox, and they're just like, hey, I just want to let you know, I really liked your article, great job, so that's always really uplifting. But gosh, the comments on, some of these game websites, it's laughable. It's really funny. Like I respect people for speaking their mind, but it's those 4-paragraph responses of, why they think I'm completely wrong. That's just, why I roll my eyes a lot.
Yeah, it is just tons of hate, and it's always a shame because it's especially when it comes to video game shows. There was the Spike Video Game Awards, and yeah, it's not the goddamn Oscars,
right?
It's not. It's MTV. It's the MTV Video Awards for video games. That's what it is.
Exactly.
But people are expecting it. They're like, oh my God, they should show the video games more respect. No, it's about just this is a little bit more fun. Yeah, they're gonna get the Jersey Shore people on. Okay, they're they're gonna get some people on that probably never played a game in their life. Okay, that's fine. I mean, not everybody that presents in the Oscar is going to be the greatest actor of all time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So. But there's an amount of hate going on, and it's like you gotta support that stuff to build on it. MTV Awards weren't the big spectacle at the beginning. They were kind of small, and then they're kind of big spectacle now. Now everybody hates them.
Yeah.
But at least there's a point to get into the limelight, to get into the sun, to where it's like, okay, here's the big thing, and because this video game thing is getting bigger and a little bit more popular, then that's going to lead to more stuff. That's going to lead to more video game stuff, to where we can get more hardcore stuff to go with the casual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame. I mean, I once I saw your article, I'm like, wow, she's going to get some hate for that. And sure enough, it's not a surprise.
Of course. But, I'd much rather write about a subject that's controversial and state my opinion strongly rather than, just playing it safe and going down the middle of the road and just trying to please everybody, because I don't feel like people want to read articles like that. They'd rather read an article by somebody who's really invested in their opinion, and then they know what they're talking about, and they go to great lengths to prove why they're right. Even if the reader doesn't agree, I think the reader should respect their opinion. And I think that's a lot more fun to write about than, just trying to please everyone. I really think that's just a waste of time. Why would I do that?
That's exactly what I tell my staff. I tell them, you know what? There's tons of websites that say they love old school games, and I want to be the guy that says, yeah, there's some great old school games. By the way, there's a lot of shit on there too. I'm not sure if you know.
Exactly.
And it's so easy to say that everything's great. But no, just take a quick stand. Just make it, so it's controversial. So people are going to hate it. Guess what? The people that hate it, they still read it.
Right, exactly. In fact, I'm pretty sure that one of the reasons why I was asked on to Kotaku to write monthly was because of my initial controversial blog about girl gamers, because once my Harley Quinn picture was put on Kotaku, I didn't know that Brian was going to link back to my blog, but he did, and a ton of people ended up reading that blog that I wrote. I kind of wish I would have known that, so I would have gone back and proofread it before everyone read it, because again, it was just kind of a rambling. But I mean, there was so many people just talking about that blog and like responding, and some people just hated it, but other people were just like, amen, sister. And I really think that the reason that I was asked to write for Kotaku was because my article got so much, attention, and people were just, they love just arguing about it and talking about it. So, I think that if that article would have been really lame and, limp, that Kotaku would have not really cared.
I know, and I know I actually had my article published in Kotaku a while back. That's because I interviewed a Playboy chick that played video games. So.
Oh, fantastic! That'll get you on there.
That got me on there, and she's
great ass.
She's it was a cheap way to do it, but hey, it worked, and you're right. Everybody came on. So let's talk about the new article. Because the new article that popped up on Kotaku revolves around Bayonetta. I reviewed Bayonetta. I love the game. I thought it was a great step into the keeping along the lines of God of War and Devil May Cry, but taking it a step further, providing a new element to it. But of course, there's all the goofiness involved and all the sexuality involved. With Bayonetta, it sounded like you kind of this is kind of dorky at first. It's kind of over sexual, but then you kind of turned around on it. Is that what it seems like?
That is exactly right. If you ask anyone who knows me, they will tell you how much crap I talked about Bayonetta before it was released. I couldn't stand it. I'm like, this is the exact opposite direction that video games need to be going. I'm sick of the crotch shots. I'm sick of the do you want to touch me? Like, I'm so sick of that. Just let's not do that. It's sex in your face. Subtle sexiness is so much more appealing to me. And I just thought the whole thing was ridiculous. And of course, I gave it a chance, because I'm not going to be that elitist hater. I'm going to give every game a chance. And I must say, I just, I fell in love with it. I loved her character. I loved how freakishly tall she was and her long legs. And I mean, what's not fun about, cutting somebody in half with a guillotine or a giant boot? I mean, it's beautiful. The game is gorgeous. The gameplay is fantastic. And like my article says, that over sexuality really does work in context, and it fit right in with the craziness. So, But yeah, of course, I did have some bad things to say about Bayonetta, and that was that I felt that, with all the prophecy talk and how they spent like 3 minutes trying to explain the story that was supposed to be, the end or beginning of the world, and I still can't even tell you what the story was about, and I did try to understand it, but, I felt that there at the end, the story was just really trying to take itself so seriously that, Bayonetta's craziness got lost in that, and I thought that was kind of a bad move. But, yeah, I must say I am a Bayonetta fan now, and I take back all of the bad things that I said about the marketing.
Well, you put a perfect example, because when I was playing it, and you're right about the storyline. I put 2 sentences where I just said in my review, I'm like, I don't get it, because it really you play it and I still didn't get it.
It makes no sense. It's bad storytelling. That's really all it is. It's terrible.
They put it all at the end, and it's just, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because you're expecting something biblical, like Darksiders is biblical.
Mm-hmm.
Darksiders has actual characters from the Bible.
Right.
Here in Bayonetta, it's just, okay, there's angels, and okay.
Right.
But the perfect example that you put on there, I was saying when I was playing through it, I'm like, man, this is almost like a Quentin Tarantino would make a game. And I say that about a lot of games, but it kind of was. But then you had the perfect example of, it's like Planet Terror.
Right.
And that was like, that's exactly what it was. Because here you have Rose McGowan in Planet Terror, the Robert Rodriguez movie. It's a zombie kill fest movie with Rose McGowan playing a stripper that loses a leg they put a damn machine gun on it.
Right.
And it's like, perfect example. It's over the top. She's over sexy, and it's got this and that. She's a badass. It works all together because it's corny, but it still works. It's got all those elements to it. That was a perfect example that you did.
Yeah. I mean, if at the end of that movie, Robert Rodriguez is like, okay, now we're going to try to explain the whole story to our audience so that everything works together, I really think that would have ruined the movie. I mean, you don't really know what's going on with all the zombies and the history of, what happened, but you don't care because there's so much crazy absurdness going on. And I think that's kind of where Bayonetta went wrong. I thought the game was beautiful, but, I just got done playing No More Heroes 2. And this is another great example of a game where you have these insanely bloody kills, you have these crazy over-the-top characters, you're doing these obscene things, and the story is just over-the-top crazy along with the characters. That's what Bayonetta should have done. They should have kept with, the corny story and, somewhat of a solid foundation of a storyline, but still just go over the top. If you're going to give us this crazy character, just make the whole thing crazy. I don't want some demon villain guy to show up at the very end and try to explain what's going on. I just want to shoot stuff.
It could have been, I was saying, it could have been, it could have been really, the best game, one of the best games of the year, automatically, if it had a good storyline that was somewhat memorable.
I agree.
Yeah, it was a real shame. Now, I do have to take a stance with one part of your topic, because yeah, harp on the fly me to the moon, and that's kind of what's playing in the background. I have to admit, I'm a guy. Yeah, heterosexual guy. When I heard this, I got a little giddy. Now, the reason I got giddy was not because I'm a Frank Sinatra fan. I like Frank Sinatra. But it was that this came up. It reminded me of Neon Genesis Evangelion, the anime, because this was the ending theme. So I was like, oh my god, this is the ending theme, and I was just into it all of a sudden. But you hate it.
I threw that in at the end as a total joke because, I never like any of my articles to be super serious. That remake was just awful in my opinion. I'm a huge Frank Sinatra fan, and just hearing that version, just it was a little sickening to me. But that was completely a joke, tongue in cheek. I don't care if anyone agrees with me. I just threw that in there as a joke, as a little ending tag. So.
I just saw that and I was like, hey, now we got a problem. Now. Start talking, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. So, let's talk about With so 2009, what was your game of the year for 2009?
Uncharted 2, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was mine too. And what are you playing right now? You mentioned No More Heroes 2?
Yes, I just finished No More Heroes 2. I actually picked that game over Mass Effect 2 the other day when they both came out. And, I'm proud of that decision. I'm definitely going to play Mass Effect 2. I love the first one, but I was way more excited for No More Heroes. I mean, comedy's in my blood. If I have to choose between a serious game and a funny game, I will always pick the funny game. But just finished that one, and surprisingly, I am playing through the Devil May Cry series. I'm on the third one right now, and I'm about to start the fourth one. So,
what brought you to start playing Devil May Cry?
Bayonetta, actually. Got done playing Bayonetta, and I wanted to play it again, and I was just in that mode. I'm just like, okay, what else can I play that's just like this, because this is a zone I'm in right now. And it was Devil May Cry. Of course, I skipped the second one because I heard that was not good. I haven't played it, but I just heard that it was worth skipping, so I skipped the second one. I'm on the third one, so yeah.
And what are some games that you're looking forward to? What are the big titles that you just gotta get?
Oh, God of War 3. I am so excited for that. I can't wait. Every time I think about it, I just get angry because I want it to be now. And BioShock 2, of course. Those are the two games I just, so excited. So extremely excited.
Yeah, this is a crazy first 3 months of the year.
Isn't it? I know.
I'm just I'm over here because I'm in the middle of Mass Effect 2, and also I'm in the middle of No More Heroes 2, and then I'm like, thank God I got a week before BioShock and Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, no kidding. Dante's Inferno, that too. I'm pretty excited about that. I don't know if I'm going to pick that one up right away, but I kind of want to wait to see some opinions and reviews on that. But yeah, I am pretty excited about that. Played the demo, and I don't care if it's almost an exact replica of God of War. I love God of War so much that I'll totally play any game like it.
So what are your plans right now? What do you have in the works? What's going on?
Well, the whole Kotaku thing is brand new. I have a new article for them coming out early February. I'm pretty sure that's when it's going to debut. So that's been kind of my main thing, since I have, my full-time graphics designer job, and I have Kotaku, and sometimes on the side I try to work in, updating my little game site. Yeah, that's all kind of taking over my schedule right now. I'm also looking forward to pilot season, since I'm an actress, and that's coming up, I think, next month after that. But yeah, hopefully some auditions will start rolling in. I can start doing some commercial work. It's always fun.
Yeah, if we could get you on G4 or one of the other video game shows, I mean, yeah.
I had a great meeting with G4, and they kept in touch after the meeting, and they're just like, we have your press kit, and we really like you, but, unfortunately we just don't have anything for you right now. And so it just hurts, because they want to use me, but there's nothing for me right now. So it's just, it kills me.
No, that is a shame. Now, something I did for a couple guests, and it's a little questionnaire done by a idol of mine, Bernard Pivot and James Lipton. So yes, I have a little questionnaire for you. I just have to get music here.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, so Lisa, tell me, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word would have to be pickle weasel. Does that count? Can I say that?
Pickle weasel? Yes.
That's honestly the first thing that came to mind. Am I supposed to be serious during this? I feel bad.
No. What's your favorite word? That's that pickle weasel. What's your least favorite word?
My least favorite word is merge. I hate the word merge with all my heart and soul.
And what turns you on?
Let's see. I'd have to say, grape Smirnoff with some grape cough syrup and some grape candy. Definitely. Actually, none of those, because I hate grape with a fiery, burning passion.
I was about to say that sounds like a grape roofie drink. What turns you off?
Shaq Fu, probably.
Oh, that turns me on, though.
I'm sure it does. Are we supposed to be talking like this, by the way?
No. This is... What sound or noise do you love?
What sound or noise? I kind of like the noise that my DS plays when I turn it on, when it's like, ding, ding. I kind of like that.
And what sound or noise do you hate?
Probably children crying or screaming or talking. I'm not really a big fan of children. I know it sounds horrible because I was on a kids show, but I'm kind of like Krusty the Clown in that respect.
Yes, those little bastards.
I
know. What's your favorite curse word?
Favorite curse word? Well, it depends on what rating this show is.
Oh, it's anything goes.
All right, my favorite curse word would probably have to be cunt bucket.
I used that just the other day.
It just works in so many scenarios, doesn't it?
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would like to be an ornamental horticulturist. They sculpt bushes. I think I could really get a career in that going. It'd be hot. Plants are hot.
My co-host said he sculpts bushes, but not those kind.
Hey now.
What profession would you not like to do?
I would not like to be a child on a kids show, because, I hate kids, and that would just be like the worst job ever. Especially one that's like sketch comedy, where I have to do like sketches and in front of a live audience for like 4 years. Yeah, that would suck.
Somewhat sounds familiar.
Whatever do you mean?
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Let's see. I would like him to say, there's so many things. I maybe that, dolphins really can talk, but they just choose not to. I think that would really be comforting, because they're so smart, those dolphins.
Yes, and if my co-host was here, he'd want to say,
"Hey, where are the white women at?"
That would be his line.
Where you at?
All right, well, it's Lisa Foyos. Her website, again, is loadsavepoint.com. Her article does appear on Kotaku.com. You're going to give us a hint on what's going to come up for February that you're talking about?
I'm hoping that it will fit into the Kotaku schedule, but it has something to do with Valentine's Day. Ho, ho, ho.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
And what's your Twitter so people can stalk you?
My Twitter is DarthChixor, CHIX0R, and that's kind of my name for everything. I established that for myself last year sometime, and it's stuck.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, oh, okay. A big Star Wars fan, I take it.
Of course, and Chixor means, a elite hacker chick who knows a lot about computers and all that, and I feel like that's me, and, I couldn't be a good version of that. I had to be an evil version of that, so thus the Darth. There you go.
All right. Well, Lisa, thank you once again for spending some time with me on the Original Gamer Podcast. For those listening, next week we may have the black guy on for the hell of it. We may not. It depends on what I feel like. Always remember to check out original-gamer.com. New reviews are up all the time. New blogs, new videos. Follow me at Twitter, OGMaster. And that's it. Lisa, thanks again.
Thank you.